Okay, I'm going to mute myself, and Aisha and Amanda, whenever y'all ready, we'll go ahead and take off, and looking forward to a great session.
Yes, thank you so much, Condro. Thank you to everyone for choosing to be here today. On behalf of PSAYDN, I'd like to welcome you to today's webinar, K-12 Engagement at Penn State, Building Pathways, Partnership, and Future Ready Youth. My name is Aisha Spradley, Professional Learning and Instruction Coordinator for PSAYDN, and I'll be your moderator for this session. All right, here comes the fun part. It's my pleasure to welcome today's amazing speaker, Amanda Smith. Amanda is an accomplished educator and leader. Amanda brings over 15 years of experience in STEM workforce development and program implementation. As the director of K-12 engagement at Penn State, she develops strategies to align K-12 education with larger, broader community goals. Amanda is an award-winning teacher who helped found the STEM learning ecosystem at its engine, right? In Central PA, and she also helped lead transformative initiatives like the Sustainability Summit for Education Leaders. She oversees Remake Learning Days, where she helps foster partnerships between K-12 and universities. And she has also collaborated with over 70 school districts to secure millions in grants for underserved communities. Amanda, I'll hand it over to you.
Great, thank you so much. Okay, good morning, everyone. Can you still see my screen? Great. Like Aisha said, thank you so much for the kind introduction. I'm Amanda Smith. I'm the Director of K-12 Engagement at Penn State. It's a position I formed at the university because I saw a greater need for collaboration with our school systems, with out-of-school time learning spaces and museums, and opportunities to work with the university across a lot of different contexts. So first of all, I work under Penn State Outreach Readiness Institute. The Readiness Institute at Penn State, you can think of it being ready for anything. It's helping prepare students for their next steps. But we've got a lot of different programs that are involved in discovery programs for K through 12, which I'll talk more about, journey programs for college students and young professionals, and then engagement programs for educators and community statewide. Housed within these areas, you're going to find a lot of opportunities that exist throughout all of Penn State, both for K through 12 and especially for our educators and communities as well, that I will be sharing today. So first of all, under my vision, under my work that I do as the director of K through 12 engagement, I really seek to broaden the reach and awareness of universities' resources and collaborations for K through 12 students, families, educators, and administrators. My main goals are making sure we're connecting more, we're looking at more ways to collaborate and to partner and to help build capacity. A lot of times we've got, a researcher in STEM that might want to build out a module based on their STEM research. And a lot of times I will say, let's co-develop this together with a group of teachers because they're the ones that are in that driver's seat and working with students. And so we've got a lot of great opportunities where we've many faculty and staff and research areas and institutions that want to work with K through 12 or work in that youth space, but they're not sure the best steps to go. And so I can come in to help strategize with them on the best way to promote and work moving forward. And so I want to share with you today a little bit more behind Penn State and what's currently happening. And so when you look at the landscape of Pennsylvania right now, Penn State can serve more than 95% of Pennsylvania residents that live within a 30-mile radius of a Penn State location. These locations are what's highlighted on this map, places where students are attending one of our Commonwealth campuses. They're enrolled in higher education programs. This is going to slightly shift over the course of the next couple years due to changes in population. However, Penn State Extension is in all 67 counties, and they have 4-H that sits within Extension, but there's so many great opportunities and resources as well with that sector of our Penn State family, and happy to connect you on opportunities. So as we walk through today, this morning, I'm going to share a few strong examples that are statewide or regional opportunities. And if this is something you're interested in, maybe thinking about I'd like to partner with them. I'd like to figure out a way that we could work and collaborate together. I'm looking for other resources. I'm happy to make sure to connect you to the right people. I'm sometimes called, like in a hotel, a concierge to a city. It's very similar. Penn State can be very difficult to navigate. And even being here, I've been at Penn State for a decade, I'm still learning so many great opportunities and resources that are available to our Commonwealth of Pennsylvania residents. So first up, I want to talk about K-12 programs at Penn State. They are housed under the Readiness Institute, where you can find a plethora of opportunities. And the first one, I want to highlight an academic year program and event that is occurring. So one, the Envision Conference, a great opportunity if you have young women in grades 6 through 12 that are looking for a full day STEM opportunity and looking at career potential and opportunities in higher education and in research. This is a great opportunity for females exploring STEM. And there are other programs like this throughout Penn State in different areas. So if you're even looking at, hey, how can we cross promote, or how can, but if you're doing an after school program, this could be another next step for students wanting to do more. So a great opportunity. Usually registration opens late January, early February, but this one will take place Saturday, March 29th, which we've already passed. But to know that this is something that happens every year at Penn State University Park, and there are a few others happening in the Commonwealth at some of our Commonwealth campuses. 4-H. So I did mention a little bit behind 4-H, but 4-H does exist in all 67 counties. You might think of them heavily when you look at some of their most popular projects. Animal Sciences is one of the most popular programs that you can do with 4-H. However, they have other amazing programs for young learners, some leadership and professional development growth opportunities, learning how to explore careers and build those lifelong skills that we always talk about helping students to learn how to communicate and collaborate and to problem solve. There's a lot of great things coming from the 4-H community, and might be ways to partner with your either out of school time organization or your school to think more behind 4-H. And 4-H, like I said, is housed within Penn State Extension that has a plethora of learning opportunities and modules and even camps and programs that are out there that you might be able to engage in. So if you want to rethink of maybe thinking with different ways to engage with 4-H, I'm happy to make those connections for you. Contests and challenges. So one, KidWind is a statewide competition. It's actually a national competition around students building wind turbines that get tested eventually with Penn State engineers. This is our aerospace engineers, our wind energy engineers that are on campus. Our collegiate wind team wins these international competitions in wind turbine design. So they really know what they're doing really well. The great thing is that this competition is open to students entering grades 4 through 12, and there are regional competitions first and then a larger state competition. This opportunity is growing in the Commonwealth. We're seeing students that might be forming teams or clubs in their schools before entering the regional competition and building out their wind turbine designs before they get tested. But it also can be in after school time programs. We've definitely seen some Scouts of America programs starting up with entering this program. So if this is something you're interested in, happy to connect you to the right leadership that can make this happen, especially if you are thinking about an after school or a summer program, how you might be able to get involved in KidWind. They do need an education advisor or a parent advisor to oversee the student-led team, but it's a great opportunity to start learning about renewable energy and more about this career sector that is growing in our Commonwealth right now. Another competition, now this one is heavily more so in central Pennsylvania in about, I believe, 12 counties. There's a poetry writing contest every year for students open to grades K through 12. It's been growing. It's a great opportunity to engage students in writing and creativity. With our WPSU partner that's part of Penn State. It's our PBS affiliate that Penn State is a part of. And there are always some really great things in the PBS world. So If you're just starting to navigate PBS Learning Media, also, I can't advocate for this enough, is a really strong resource to do a lot with grab and go opportunities and resources that exist in that PBS structure. Family-friendly events. There are several I want to highlight. One, if you have a group of students that are really interested in pollinators and insects, this is a great fair that happens every year as part of our College of Agriculture, happens in central Pennsylvania. But students are learning a lot about the importance of pollination, about farming, and about everything that's happening in this insect world. But if you've definitely got those students that are interested in entomology, this is a great opportunity for you, and to learn about career potential, what exists in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania in these areas, because pollination is extremely important. And we actually are home to one of the top researchers in the world for pollinator research to help save our bees, because we need bees in order for our agriculture to grow in our Commonwealth. The Maple Harvest Festival, just another great family-friendly public event that's happening. You can learn a lot about the history and current day, modern day farming at this event as well, but just a really fun-filled day. Our Maple Harvest Festival sells out in a matter of a day, but it's a great way to also eat pancakes and have maple syrup that's tapped from local trees that exists in Huntington County. So a really fun-filled day. Happens every year in March, typically the third weekend every year. So there are many public events that Penn State holds as well that are on the website that I will share with you later this week. And then thinking through about some summer camps. So one, Penn State's home to about 377 youth programs that occurs throughout the academic year, but mostly are in the summer. We do serve as a really strong national model about how we host and structure summer camps, but some opportunities here where summer camps are occurring all over the Commonwealth, as we know, but maybe even thinking about ways to partner together with some of those camps. I'm happy to help you explore that no matter what area of Pennsylvania you are in. And the Readiness Institute, I wanted to circle back to the Readiness Institute because of their amazing summer discovery program. These right now is for students that live in Allegheny, Bedford, Blair, Cambria, and Somerset counties. It's a growing program. It's about a month-long program where students are doing site visits and tours with many different kinds of industries, but also building up their career skills and next steps after high school. Because this is a very long program, and it's very flexible. It's certain days in person. There's some virtual opportunities. This comes with a $1,500 stipend for students. So unlike probably many summer camps, as we know, parents and caregivers have to pay for summer camps. This one is the opposite. This is paying students to be part of this program, and they also receive a Chromebook as well, but a really great leadership potential and building skills for this opportunity. And again, it's in those counties that are highlighted, but it is growing. So if this is something you're saying, you know what, I want to start developing a Readiness Institute summer discovery in our region, I can happy to connect you with leadership to start talking through what could that look like as next steps. But a really great opportunity for students, and these are for rising seniors currently. And then educator programs. So we have a lot of K through 12 programs, but we also have many educator programs that you will find on the website, both in academic year and in summer. First up, I do want to talk to you about field trips. So if you're looking, either you're sitting in a classroom, or you're a homeschooling group, or an out of school time program, there are many field trips that we can tailor to meet your needs based on research occurring at Penn State across many different areas, especially heavily in agriculture, energy, biotechnology, are some of those sweet spots that I think Penn State does really well in. We are happy to help tailor field trips to meet your needs. So if something you're interested in, happy to make sure to get you connected. We have many that are housed here at University Park in Central PA, but there are others especially up in the Erie area, has some great opportunities. They have a planetarium as well. So if you're coming from Erie, there's some great things happening at Penn State Erie as well. And STEM-based tours. So there's a group in the Commonwealth called the Chief Science Officers Program. This started out as a regional program. I helped start the Chief Science Officers Program a few years back in Central PA. It's now a statewide priority. It's run by the intermediate units, but it's a great STEM ambassador program for students in middle and high school and working on developing STEM action projects. They see the needs in their communities or their schools of where they want to go with STEM. And we're helping them develop more resources and opportunities along this way. So what I put together recently for them this past fall was giving them a very structured tour around Penn State that had to deal with different areas of STEM research, especially heavily in food sciences and the microbiome center around where biotechnology is going. It's helping spark some interest in things that they want to do. Especially we have a lot of groups that are developing or helping develop STEAM nights at their schools or in their community, ways to work with Penn State at large about opportunities and people and resources to bring to those STEAM nights. So it was a great day learning from students and their needs and thinking about where they want to go with their schools as far as STEM action plans. But if this is, again, something you're interested in, happy to help you explore this because there are many areas to look at as far as thinking about career potential in the STEM areas. Plant Village, I will highlight, is very, very unique. This is a Dr. David Hughes. He's highlighted as one of the top 25 scientists by Forbes in the globe. He's doing some really great work in Africa currently in helping understand what's going on with crop rotation and climate change and working directly with farms in Kenya at this moment in time. Even though he's at Penn State, they're doing a lot of great things virtually. It's a great program, and it was eye-opening to students to think about not only local issues that they're learning about, but thinking about the global context and what's happening globally with climate change. And site visits and educational services. So not only do we have many opportunities where you can come to Penn State, there are many opportunities for Penn State to come out and do work with you. One group I really want to highlight, amazing young people, are the Engineering Ambassador Program. We have a lot of active students that want to work with schools and want to work with youth in different ways. They are happy to, they develop activities for students and they help show career potential in different areas of engineering and thinking about how do we make our world better, because that's what engineering is all about. So it's a great opportunity. They love working with youth at all grade bands and all age levels. So if this is something you're interested in, happy to connect you to the engineering ambassadors to come work with your out of school time organization or your school system. And lastly, some summer workshops that are currently happening for K through 12 educator programs. One, watershed education is growing in its importance in the state. If you're well aware of some of the new standards that are happening in education and sciences, they're called the STEEL standards, highlights the importance of watershed education. We know that in talking with some state level leadership is looking at how can we work more also with not only with formal schools, but in informal environments and out of school programs. If you're interested in helping develop opportunities for your youth in watershed education, I can point you in the right direction. Sea Grant is one of those groups. They're part of the Penn State fabric, but there are a few others with not only the Chesapeake Bay Watershed Foundation, which the Chesapeake Bay, as we know, is in certain counties of our Commonwealth, but there are other areas about helping to improve watershed experiences for our students to understand the importance of watershed health and development, how this affects our oceans and our lakes and streams. So if that's something you're interested in, taking an environmental component, would again, happy to connect you. And a few last things I'd like to highlight, and then we're going to turn it over to Q&A. One, Aisha mentioned that I developed a sustainability summit. So understanding that there's a lot happening and a lot of resources to navigate, I'm looking at developing summits for education leaders in the formal and informal spaces to really start to understand some of our resources and assets in different areas of need. Sustainability was our first one. One, because sustainability is now built into our standards in education, which is a great thing, but also there's opportunities for places to go more green and to develop this green ribbon status with Pennsylvania and to become more sustainable. We're also seeing sustainability be built into careers throughout Pennsylvania in different corporations and industries and having a sustainability sector. And so this is also becoming part of the fabric of Penn State more and more with our Penn State Sustainability Institute and mission, but a lot of great work. Penn State's heavily known for energy efficiency is one of its main areas. So this summit, first of all, brought together about 45 education leaders from 20 school districts in the Commonwealth that said, you know, we want to start doing more around sustainability in our vision of the entire school system, but also in what we're doing in our classroom spaces. And so this was a great 2-day event. They learned a lot about different resources, met with different faculty to take back with them to start developing their sustainability plans. From that event, this happened this past October, 90% established a new connection with a new Penn State partner, and 77% of those 90 said they were expected to result in some type of collaborative action. They were ready to take hold of this. The great thing is about this first step with these education leaders coming together, it was typically an administrator or a curriculum director and a really powerful teacher that wanted to make change. So we had them come with at least 2 people from their organization to help brainstorm and think about the future of education and where they were headed, and thinking about how do our students experience sustainability? How are our students experiencing what's happening even in our local community? How do we know about the environmental issues in our local community? Can every student right now or youth sit in a classroom or an experience and say they know what's happening in their community? It's a loaded question, but we know that this is a really important track to really help students not only think globally, but act locally. And I mentioned a piece of this. One, this is part of the new STEEL standards, but also Pennsylvania Department of Education has Pathways to Green Schools programs. It's helping to get our schools more energy efficient for a better carbon dioxide output in our Commonwealth. Penn State is one of the few universities right now that is not only drawing down carbon, but we are eventually working to become a carbon neutral university. I believe Hawaii is one of the ones that currently are, but we're really actively seeking that, and we want to help schools along that trajectory as well. And for us, it also, with this opportunity in developing these new university K-12 partnerships, which could be formal, but also informal informal education out of school time organizations as well. It's also helping our higher ed students get involved too, because we have many different academic clubs and many opportunities that we want to help our higher education students work within their community, and schools and youth is such a major piece of the community. So these are students in higher ed that not necessarily are moving into a K-12 profession, but they want to work in youth development in some way, shape, or form. And so with this opportunity, with our first set of 45 education leaders, we're continuously working with them. We are looking to grow this over the course of the next couple of years. We do want to empower all educators in driving meaningful impact in the sustainability, climate action, water conservation, and beyond in this space of this type of summit, and really preparing our future ready youth. So we definitely want to work with formal and informal in this space. And this just happened last fall as our first pilot start. So hoping to do more. So if this is something you're interested in, we can definitely have a bigger conversation about this later on down the road if you are wanting to get into this space to work with youth in these spaces. I'll hold off on this video. I do have a video, but for time's sake, I think, are we okay on time, Aisha? I'm not looking at a clock.
You're doing great.
Okay, great. I'll show you, I want to show you this 3-minute short video about what we're doing and the actions that we are setting up.
It was our vision with Penn State Outreach and our partner, Penn State Sustainability, to bring together educators from across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania as sustainability is being built out into their curriculum and important for their schools as we think about an operational approach and a curricular approach of improving sustainability. There's a lot of assets and resources that we can bring together to help them think about how are they going to improve sustainability in their schools for the future of our children.
Thinking about the whole pipeline of students starting from kindergarten all the way up to 12th grade into college and beyond, Penn State is really well positioned to think about how do we help them on that whole pipeline on their journey and help them feel like they are empowered to be citizens of a sustainable future, not victims of a future where they don't feel like they have any agency.
We actually have 24 schools from all across Pennsylvania doing different things, different communities, probably rural, urban, everything in between, that are represented here today, but all driven by the same ideas.
What I see from this K-12 Sustainability Summit is unlimited potential. We have varied stakeholders from all walks of life across the Commonwealth and beyond.
Start to imagine, what would you like sustainability to look like at your school as you're looking out 1 year, 3 years, 5 years? What does sustainability mean for your school or your district?
Being able to connect to the experts and resources here at Penn State has been really phenomenal. Just tons of projects that we're brainstorming right now that we can definitely connect with Penn State and hopefully bring in the experts and resources needed to bring these ideas to reality.
How do we scale? How can we support with Penn State as a great asset as the land grant institution, but also with other higher education institutions that are across the landscape in new ways?
This program is giving those innovative teachers who recognize that their students need to have that agency to change. This is giving them new methodology on how to approach this topic. And it's also giving them the background and the muscle and power to enable them to advocate for this type of program in their schools.
How do we continue to push on this really important message of sustainability?
How do we do better with education in connecting the dots and helping our students have those critical skills to solve the problems that we're seeing in front of us?
How do we actually impact change?
What do you need? How can we help you?
How many lives were changed after this? How many people were inspired to do new things and to see sustainability and its importance in a new way?
I think collectively, by working together, we can in fact make that difference.
We are Penn State. So I think one thing that was really highlighted is what do you need and how can we help you? It's a very big message. I really advocate in making sure we're understanding what's happening with our youth today. What is happening in the K-12 landscape and beyond, and how can Penn State play a role in that in helping develop better partnerships and better working together? So sustainability is definitely an area where we're starting. We're looking to grow across other areas as well, depending on the needs of our Commonwealth and our residents. And then lastly, I want to showcase the Global Impact Forum. I'm very excited about this opportunity. The Global Impact Forum was a 3-day conference that brought together global leaders, innovators, entrepreneurs, especially heavily in the AI space. And it also worked in collaboration with the governor's priorities around cybersecurity, agriculture, education, and areas of need of how AI is helping to support some of those major priorities in our Commonwealth. But beyond AI, it really helped showcase some great learning opportunities around where entrepreneurs are going and innovations that are happening and how it impacts Pennsylvania. Part of the Global Impact Forum was the High School Student Spotlight. So this took place last year in Philadelphia at the PA Convention Center. The High School Student Spotlight was a one situation where it was a showcase to allow students that are working on projects, could be projects in any area, innovations and ideas, and they were able to connect with these leaders here. I think a lot of times, and I know I'm speaking to the choir, we go to these big conferences, meet some amazing individuals. We want to bring students and youth alongside this opportunity and give them these experiences. So this opportunity got students in a non-competitive environment. There was no competition, there was no awards. It was these students showcasing the work they're doing in their communities, in their schools, in their after-school time organizations, about some innovative projects and ideas, and they got to meet with some powerful leaders. This picture is probably the highlight, honestly, of my career that I took. I got this student who is from Lankenau Environmental School, which is in Philadelphia. He showcased a project that he was doing with the Department of Agriculture and Soils. Behind, in the very back, you'll see this is Dr. Khalid Mumin. He is the former Secretary of Education. And this young man is shaking hands and talking about his project with Martin Luther King III and his wife, Andrea Waters King. It was an amazing opportunity where he could really highlight the work he's doing. And they gave him advice. And it was such a powerful, powerful moment. The Kings were our keynote speakers last year at the Global Impact Forum. So just an amazing opportunity to bring together world leaders with our youth in Pennsylvania. So we want to keep this growing. And we will have a Global Impact Forum event next fall. We're going to be alternating between Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. So next year we'll be in Pittsburgh. And it's really important to note that this is free. We try to make this as accessible and equitable as possible. So if a student group wants to come to this event, showcase their innovation or project, get to meet with world leaders, it is free for that educator, that advisor, and their student team to take part in this day. Another strong example, these two amazing young women, they're juniors in a high school in Philadelphia, are developing a computer science program for elementary students. These students, to me, could possibly be the Million Moonshot females, or be part of that flight crew. That's a program that's happening with the STEM Next Opportunity and PSAYDN. But they got to meet with the CEO of Code.org, which is Hadi Partovi, and he got to share with them some insights and give them advice along the way. So this is something you're interested in. I will make sure you get all this information this end of this week. The event will take place this year from 11 to 3 p.m. at the David L. Lawrence Convention Center. It's in the heart of Pittsburgh, and it will be happening on Tuesday, November 4th, 2025. The conference itself, if you would love to attend this whole conference, it's going to happen November 3rd through the 5th. The K-12 focused day is on November 4th, but a really great opportunity, like I said, for students to meet with some amazing innovators and leaders in our globe. And the application for this is by September 15th. So we know that we want to take as many student groups as we possibly can, but getting those student clubs or student projects in now is really critical. That way I can provide a lot of information next fall for this event in November. So I really hope that you might be interested in this opportunity and thinking through how this might be able to impact the work you're doing. And if you have strong students that are sitting there and they've got ideas and they have innovations that they're working on over the course of this year, love to get them highlighted at the Global Impact Forum. So with that, I'm going to pause. I've talked a lot, and I want to make sure we open up the floor for questions and comments. So Aisha, I can go ahead and turn it over to you for questions and thoughts moving forward.
So right now we're going to open it up. If you have any questions or comments or ideas, just general, you can share out, put it in the chat, and we'll make sure we address them.
Oh, what great information here, Amanda. Aisha, can you stop the share so we can get everybody's picture on the grid here? And I just might call on somebody, so don't try to close your camera out. But while I'm not a graduate of Penn State, I think it's appropriate, and the first time I really do want to scream out loud right now is we are, right? Like, we are in a great place here in Pennsylvania with our out of school time space and what's available to offer these opportunities to our youth. So I really appreciate this presentation with hard, fast ideas, dates, upcoming events that we can involve our out of school time community in. And I really hope that we take advantage of this opportunity while it's here. With that being said, please unmute yourself if you have any questions, any comments. We want to hear from the field if we can.
Charlize, did I say it right? Did I get it right? She said just wanted to,
Yep.
Charlie, okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to say 4-H is great and we get our chicks later this month. Oh,
That's great.
Amy Burrows shared that the engineering ambassador outreach, oh, she wants to know more about that. Does it happen from the Allegheny campus?
I'm not 100% sure if it happens directly from the greater Allegheny campus. However, the engineering ambassadors are suited to go anywhere in the Commonwealth. So that's something I can talk to leadership about. And if they have other smaller chapter programs happening at those other campuses, but they are able to go anywhere in the Commonwealth. And that's really important to them.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So for those that did attend the ELO and Empower conference, Amanda was to be part of our panel discussion on day 3. And unfortunately, without her permission, she couldn't get there for that day. So we welcomed her back here to share. What I'd like to add is in our evaluations from that panel discussion, there was a question around barriers for like underserved communities or students. Anything to address in the barriers where our out of school time programs can either be aware of those barriers or get through those barriers to offer these support services and enrichment, should I say, to our students.
Yeah, I will add that we put forth a lot of federal and state level grants as well. There's always broader impacts as far as federal grants. We know the federal grant landscape is changing right now, because a lot of times we would be looking at opportunities to make sure that we make them as equitable as possible. Sometimes they're not even 100% free, but we look at ways of, especially if we were working with schools and we're holding professional development, let's say, and with that has to do with a specific sector of STEM research, we would be building in travel expenses, all fees, substitute costs, just looking at what are all the areas that could be red tape in order to work with us. It's a growing need. We know that, unfortunately, we have to change some of that language in those federal grants because there are things that are supposed to be taken out, but we are doing the best that we can to make sure that we are still, and this is critical from Penn State, serving all students, all opportunities that can exist, and looking at what barriers might exist, or sorry, not might, do exist, that we can work within and still apply to those federal grants for these opportunities. So something to make note of. We are not shying away from that whatsoever. And it'll be important to also understand, if you're working with youth, what are the issues you're seeing, what barriers are in place, so that we can best tailor your needs as well. That's really, really critical. So as we know, it all takes relationship building and understanding how can we best serve you. So very, very critical. I know that we want to get the PSAYDN team up to Penn State University Park as well to really start navigating more and understanding those barriers that exist.
Perfect. Thank you, Amanda. Not time for us to give up, but to another message at the conference, our tactics change, but our mission will stay the same.
Yep. Agreed. So I will go ahead and put my email address as well in the chat feature. Feel free to reach out to me, but I will make sure all this information and links and just giving you some thoughts and ideas. Also happy to come out to visit you. It's my goal to make sure we are serving the Commonwealth that's working really hard with our youth and thinking about new ways that we can work with you at Penn State University.
One last thing before we close it out. Amy also spoke about how the Penn State Outreach Readiness Institute, she wants to know, does it happen in, what's UP?
Oh, University Park.
Okay. Or at branch campuses. Also want to say Penn State Allegheny has done some wonderful tours for our middle school students during summer camp. So that's awesome.
That's great to hear. The Readiness Institute itself right now is the program itself based on their funding model is currently for all youth in Allegheny County, Bedford, Cambria, Somerset, and Blair. So, but they're looking to expand into other areas of the state. They're not currently at every Commonwealth campus yet. It's definitely a regional program, but growing as far as their discovery summer programs that come with a $1,500 stipend. Some of the things that we do at Readiness Institute around engagement programs for educators, a lot of those are statewide, but our specific summer discovery program right now is more of a regional program, but the model itself we're looking to grow.
And
One more question about that. For the rising high school seniors, if they're from Allegheny County, would they come to University Park for that?
There is an event. There is a one-day event that they have at University Park, but that's a great question. I did not highlight that. The Readiness Institute program for Allegheny students is at the Pittsburgh Center. It's at the EIC. I forget what the EIC stands for, but it's right behind where the Penguins play.
Right.
It's the building. It's the South Connolly building. It's in.
It was for Franco Harris was right?
Yes.
Is that part of it? Okay.
Yes, it's
I
the
went
Franco
to Penn
Harris.
State. Sorry.
Yeah, it's the Franco Harris Pittsburgh Center now, but it is housed in that building. And I just can't remember that part of the city of what that area of the city is called. You might know better than I do.
It might be near the August Wilson Center, possibly, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
It's behind PPG Paints. I don't think it's even on PPG Paints anymore.
Okay.
Maybe it is, but I still call it that. But it is housed in the city. So it's right there for those Allegheny counties.
Okay.
So any student in Allegheny County can apply for the Readiness Institute program.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. And it seems like there's a number of people who want to connect with you after. And so there'll be some resources that'll go out via email, as well as a survey so that you can stay in contact with Amanda and see if there's anything you could build around you. That concludes our session for today. We hope you enjoyed the presentation. I'd like to thank Amanda for taking the time to share this with all of us. And if you could please take a moment to fill out the survey in the box, in the chat box, we would really appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much, all. I really appreciate it.
Thank you all for joining. All right.